Hey everyone, Genome here. Coming at you with the next video entry in my music review series, basically where I take a look back at some old music that I think was interesting or significant in some way. And as of late, I've been focusing on harmony, bands that harmonize really well. And this, of course, has led me back to what I consider the decade that is pretty much the epitome of harmony. That's probably the 70s. As far as, mainstream harmonies go. Now, of course, there's a case to be made for like the 50s era as well. But just for the sake of the channel, I'm going to go with music I'm a little more familiar with, and I'll probably dig back into older stuff in a little bit later date. But the band you see before you right now is none other than Ambrosia. Ambrosia is a band that I didn't really appreciate too well until I got a little bit older, sorry to say. But they are something else. Musically, very, very gifted, and they've been responsible for some pretty big hits over the years, and deservedly so. So what I'm going to do is, as always, just kind of let the music do most of the talking. I won't overcut it too much, but, I will chime in when I think something cool is coming up I think you're listening to, because that's kind of the idea of this, is to, get a little taste of the music, but maybe open your eyes a little bit to parts of it you might not have noticed before. Just, once again, things that kind of pop out to my auditory senses. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get this ball rolling, shall we? This is, is it 1978's How Much I Feel by Ambrosia. All right, let's jump right in, shall we? Excuse me. Nice slow entry. I like that.
I don't know how this whole business started, of you thinking that I had been untrue.
And this song is going to have more harmony on the chorus than on the rest of the bill.
Think that we'd be better parted. It's gonna hurt me, but I break away from you.
Nice soft notes, doesn't embellish too much. I love the clarity.
Well, just give me the sign, and I will be gone. Yeah.
Here comes some beautiful harmony.
That's how much I feel for you, baby. How much I need. Well, I need your touch. How much I need. I live for your loving. That's how much. That's how much. That's how much. That's how much.
So it's how the lead singer will match the harmony and then rise above it, and then come back down to harmony level again. It takes a lot of talent to make transitions like that.
Sleep alone and late at night I'm dreaming of the togetherness that seems to believe it.
Talk about a slow jam though, right, man? That's incredible.
Oh no, give it all, then I'll give some more. If you would only love me like you had before.
He has very comfortable lower note sustained or higher note sustained.
Oh, take hold of my hand, I will be forgiven. Yeah. That's how much I feel for you, baby. How much I need your touch. How much I need. I live for your loving. Well, that's how much. That's how much. That's how
Love the way the chorus goes in and out.
That's how much.
Now the singer lets himself go here a little bit. The song
So
version.
you try to stay in the middle, and then you cry. Well, you cried just a little. try to make amends,
I know time.
but you're better off as friends. 'Cause that's how much. That's how much. That's how much. That's how
There's
much.
Wave crashing into slow jam territory again. I like this. Once again, nice, beautiful transition there with a few piano keystrokes. This is a singer who's so comfortable with his range.
Going on.
It's very nice to see.
I got a wife now. Years we've been going strong.
Side note, you should really listen to the lyrics too, without me talking, of course.
Oh no, there's just something that I got to say. Sometimes when we make love, I still can see your face. Just try to recall when
that
we
wind
were as
in the
one.
background, very fitting there. I like that too. So the chorus is throughout the music, but you don't always hear it. You don't notice it. Conscious playing.
Feel for you, baby.
One thing I don't like about this song, the only thing I don't like is it cuts too quick. I think they should have, let it go out at least another stanza or two. Because the chorus is so bloody good. But there you have it. There is 1978's Ambrosia. How Much I Feel. One of my favorite songs by them, if not favorite. And it just works on so many different levels. Oops. There we go. Sorry about that. But yeah, it just works on so many levels. It works as like soul music. It works as top 40, or should I say pop 40 rock. I mean, it works as soft rock. It works as almost a cappella, but there's a lot of course, instrumentation going around, but it just works so well, so many different ways. And that just kind of lends itself to the strength of the song itself. Say what you will about the 70s, but I am hard-pressed to think of an era that had more variety and quality, like kind of all congealed into one. While I mostly listen to a little more 80s stuff than anything else, just because I kind of grew up with it, I can certainly appreciate the amazing amount of good music that was actually on the airwaves back then. The talent was just oozing out of every diode of the music industry. There was so much good music. Doesn't matter what genre you were in. It's just incredible, man. It's like, you had, like, for instance, about the same time, you had Aerosmith, who was just tearing things up on the harder rock side of things, right? And then you swing all the way over here to Ambrosia, who could pull off a slow jam, soft rock, freaking beautiful piece of music like that. And they could be playing on the same airwaves in the same, 15-minute time span, or the sonic thresholds of, Pink Floyd, wafting across your the ear canals there. It's just, there was so much that was going on and so many different musical styles. I mean, even disco, you can incorporate that in there. The beginnings of punk were, getting some airplay and some club play. We still had some holdovers from the 60s. I mean, Bowie was on there doing some great stuff in the 70s. Queen made his appearance, with, as far as, harder rock band, well, hard being a subjective term, but the more harder edge rock bands, they had harmony coming out the wazoo. That was like their focus, harmonies. And, you had some of this more mellow stuff, like the solo artist, you'd have to your James Taylors and your Jim Croce's and all that. It was like a machine gun. It was hard to keep track, as compared to the pop that came out 2000 and past, where everything is forgettable. It's either, I know it's said too much, but the whole auto-tune stuff and manufactured music, it just sounds so repetitive. It's hard to tell a Britney Spears song from a Christina Aguilera song, unless you just wouldn't know unless you just knew it from the beginning. That didn't make a whole lot of sense, but it was just so amazing what that decade did for music, and what, some labels would take a chance on a lot of different things. And it's so much, and it's amazing how well the most of it holds up. Some things don't hold up well, like some of the keyboard work, or like in the 80s, too much saxophone. In the 70s, it was too much experimentation with, space psychedelic noises, kind of like, I think, it's like Steve Miller Band, stuff like that. Those things I could definitely take or leave. Even a lot of Pink Floyd, some of the keyboard work was not to my liking, but it was such a great time to be into music, and really it would have been great to grow up in that era, as a teenager or something, because man, there was just so much to see and do, at least when it come to music. It was great growing up in the '80s. There was a lot to see and do, but it was starting to move a little more towards manufactured music as opposed to just strong musicianship and some studio magic. You know what I mean? It went from a lot of vocoders and synthesizers and all that, maybe a little too heavily in the '80s, at least as far as maybe longevity goes. But '70s is where everything kind of came together. The technology was really good. The equipment was pretty great, and there was a willingness to experiment some, and it was just I don't know, just incredible. But songs like this really epitomize it. Crystal clear, sounds extremely precise, and by that I mean like if crowds today were interested in such good music, it could have been released just as easily a year or two ago. Very few things date it. It just sounds so good, crystal clear, and it just moves along at the perfect, FM dial pace. So I don't know if any of that makes sense to you guys, but that's how I take it. So definitely check Ambrosia out. Give them a chance. They were just, I don't know. Some people were right when I was younger, and they said maybe you'll understand when you get a little older. Maybe it takes a little bit of age and mellowness to really appreciate how good and talented some of these bands were. But hey, it is what it is, and hopefully I've grown as a person. But anyway, hopefully I've shed some light on a song you might not know as well, or maybe it's you revisiting this song from ages past. But yeah, I mean, just check out the work. Check out the work of artists in the '70s. There's so many to go through. I couldn't even begin to describe them all in 10 videos just like this. So just give it a chance out there. If it's not your normal comfort zone, try it. I mean, there's something in that decade for you. There's got to be. I have to believe that. But anyway, thanks for watching. There'll be more of these in the near future. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And until next time, or until I find the next jam I want to use, this is Genome